You ever notice how, in the beginning, her eyes spark with a kind of electric fire? Every laugh she shares, every glance she offers feels urgent, as if this moment could be the one that changes everything. And you feel it too, that surge, that rush, as though love is a flame you both intend to keep stoked. But somewhere along the way, often unspoken, almost invisible, that flame dims. And you find yourself wondering, when did she stop trying? When did the dates that once felt magical become routine? When did her affectionate texts fade into echoing silences? The answer, brother, is woven in a quiet, terrifying realization. The moment she knew you'd never leave, she stopped trying. That sentence might sting, it might feel harsh, but it's not about assigning blame. It's about uncovering the poetry of human desire, the invisible dance between certainty and longing. Because there's a profound truth in relationships. Security can kill passion, and permanence can be the slow poison of indifference. Let's explore that together, honestly, poetically, and with the brutal clarity that gets a man to wake up. You remember those early days, right? She'd text you at dawn, thinking of you. You'd smile, show up for her coffee at lunch, dance with her in the dim glow of streetlights at midnight. Every moment felt charged, weighty, like the entire world had narrowed down to the two of you. You both chased that luminous, addictive thrill, wondering if this was it, the one who would never let go. But then reality settled in, quietly, subtly. Life crept in, work schedules, family obligations, small disappointments. You started answering her calls on speakerphone while driving. She started sending LOL texts instead of heartfelt paragraphs. The spontaneous midnight drives became, okay, let's just see each other this weekend. And you, in your devotion, leaned in. You told her, I'll always be here, and meant it with every fiber of your being. You believed that by assuring her of your permanency, you were showing true love. You thought it would make her feel safe, cherished, adored. But here's where the paradox bites. Safety can feel suffocating. Certainty can feel suffocating. When she realized you'd never walk away, that you'd never leave, even if she gave her half-hearted I love yous, even if she grew distant, even if she took you for granted, her heart lost its urgency. She no longer needed to sweep you off your feet when she knew your feet would never leave. Passion, my friend, is not built on safety. It's built on the possibility of loss. If she worries she might lose you any moment, her eager palms clutch tighter. But once she knows you'll stay, her grip relaxes. She softens in your arms, but pulls away from your heart. That moment, when she sips her drink across from you and thinks, he's not going anywhere, is the same moment she stops calling just to hear your voice, stops surprising you with small notes, stops putting her best self forward. Because why chase when the prize is guaranteed? Now, I'm not saying this is her fault or your fault. It's just the way desire works. Certainty breeds complacency, and complacency creates distance. Have you ever watched a wild animal in a cage? At first, its spirit thrashes, claws scraping, heart pounding, desperate to break free or keep fighting. Over time, the wildness dulls. It learns that the bars will hold it, that survival doesn't require ferocity. Its fire dims, it grows accustomed to a safe cage. She was never a wild animal in your relationship. She was a dancing flame, free and unpredictable. But when she learned you would never leave, she traded her dance for a seat. She traded her spark for a muted glow. I want to pause here and let you breathe this in. Safety can be a cage. Good intentions can become shackles. Your promise to stay, meant to be an anchor, became a noose that stifled her hunger. So what do you do about this? Am I saying you should threaten to leave every time she drifts? No, that's not strength, that's manipulation. What I'm saying is, you need to remember who you were before you promised to stay. You were a man of purpose, passion, and ambition. You chased dreams, you sharpened your edges. You built something valuable, an identity that existed with or without her. That's the man she fell for. But somewhere along the way, you traded your quests for her comfort. And in doing so, you forgot that she needs to know the weight of your absence. Not as a threat, but as a testament to your value. Remember who you were, the man with a vision bigger than a relationship. The man who chased goals at dawn and watched the sunrise alone. The man whose heart was open, but whose priorities were never fully entangled with another soul. That man was unpredictable, because his life had dimensions she couldn't always forecast. A woman doesn't want a man whose life is defined solely by her. She wants a man whose world is grander, whose life includes her but is not consumed by her. She wants to know there's a part of you that remains elusive, a piece of your heart she must continually explore. Now, if you're still with me, let's dive deeper. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, because we're exploring truths that get guys thinking differently, poetically, powerfully, unapologetically. When she stops trying, it's not because she doesn't love you anymore. It's because her love took the shape of your gift, and that gift no longer felt precious. Think about it like this. If someone handed you a $100 bill every day, you'd eventually forget its value. You wouldn't inspect it. You wouldn't show it to friends. You'd take it for granted. But if you knew that was the last time you'd ever see a $100 bill, if the possibility of never receiving another haunted you, every note would feel sacred. You'd handle it carefully. You'd treat it like treasure. Your presence in her life is like that $100 bill. When it's fleeting, it's cherished. When it's endless, it's taken for granted. Now I know you love her and want to show up. That's noble, but I want you to ask yourself, am I showing up in ways that keep her heart racing, or have I become the constant she expects to never leave? Because if you've become that constant, if your love no longer carries the tension of uncertainty, she quietly slips into the ease of complacency. And when she's complacent, she stops trying. Brother, this isn't about playing manipulative mind games. It's about remembering that your value is not found in your availability, but in your devotion to something greater. Your purpose, your passions, your personal growth. That's what keeps you unpredictable. That's what keeps her mind alive with questions. Where is he right now? What is he building? What part of himself is he exploring today? When she thinks like that, she's still chasing you in her own way. Now let's get practical. I want to give you 3 guiding principles to make sure you don't slip into that predictable cage. 1. Prioritize your pursuits before her presence. Every morning you wake up with a mission. Maybe it's work, maybe it's a side project, maybe it's fitness, maybe it's a creative endeavor. Whatever it is, that mission defines you. She admires you, cherishes you, and remembers you most when you're in motion, when you're chasing something that requires your full heart. If you devote every hour to her comfort, texting, calling, appeasing, she sees you as a resource she can draw on endlessly, so keep your pursuits at the forefront. Let her see that your life is not a blank canvas waiting for her paint. It's a masterpiece in progress. Solder 2. Cultivate healthy emotional distance. I don't mean emotional disconnection. I mean balance. When she's upset, you listen, but you don't swoop in to fix every tear. When she's anxious, you empathize, but you don't abandon your own calm. Give her space to feel, to ponder, to fight through her own storms. Let her know you care, but not so much that you evacuate your boundaries to make her safe. The moment she knows you'll always be there to catch her, she stops respecting the nuance of your heart. So remain present, but not to the point of predictability. Snos 3. Reveal yourself in layers, not all at once. At first, you shared your dreams in full. You spoke of childhood scars, of future aspirations, of vulnerabilities. You let her see it all, and she was captivated. But over time, you stopped peeling back new layers. She saw you, thought she knew you, and lost curiosity. A man's soul should be like a novel. Every chapter reveals something new, something edgy, something haunting in its beauty. If you show your entire story in chapter 1, the remaining chapters feel redundant, so hold back. Let her wait to learn a new facet of you. Next week, next month, 6 months from now. Let her look forward to each reveal. Follow these principles and you'll stay unpredictable, alive in her mind and heart. Now let's weave in some real-life poetry, because these truths need to be felt as much as understood. Picture her standing on a balcony at dusk, the city lights flickering like distant fireflies. She thinks of you, of your voice, of your laughter, of the way your ambition once burned brighter than the skyline. She wonders if you're alone or if you're out there conquering dreams. That tension, my friend, is the spark of her desire. But if she imagines you sitting beside her every night, watching Netflix, scrolling social feeds, absent from her mind, there's no spark, only comfort. And comfort is the silent killer of infatuation. Let me share a poetic scene. It's midnight and you're alone in your study. A single lamp illuminates half your face. You're writing, building, dreaming, your phone buzzes, her name. You glance at the screen, feel the warmth of her thought, but you close the phone and turn back to your purpose. Because in that silent choice, choosing yourself over a fleeting moment, you remind her who you are, a man with a world taking shape beyond her. Now I know what you might be thinking, but if I don't answer, will she think I don't care? Possibly. She might wonder. Good. Let her wonder. Because when she wonders, when she feels that pang of uncertainty, she feels your presence more intensely than if you'd answered right away with, I miss you too. Uncertainty fuels imagination. When she's left to fill in the blank spaces, she paints you in heroic colors. She dreams of what you might be doing, how you might be looking. She builds you up in her mind. That's attraction. That's hunger. That's a woman still chasing the man she can't predict. You might worry, but won't she get mad? Won't she think I'm playing games? Let her be mad. Let her be confused. Because as long as she's emotionally invested in understanding you, she's on her way back to caring. It's not cruelty. It's wisdom. It's knowing that a man who loses his boundaries loses his power. Here's where we pause for a moment of reflection. She doesn't want the man she can read like an open book. She wants the chapter she can't flip to. All right, soldier. Because you're here, listening, you deserve something deeper. And before we move on, let me humbly invite you. Subscribe to this channel for raw truths that cut deeper than any Hallmark card. Because if you felt the sting of complacency, you need to keep sharpening yourself. Let's talk about the deeper currents that run beneath this surface. Because beyond just chasing curiosity, there's something even more profound at play. The human soul's need for growth. When a man stops growing, intellectually, emotionally, spiritually, he stagnates. And when the man he loves stagnates, a woman's heart withers. She doesn't want a partner to simply coexist. She wants a partner who evolves, who learns, who becomes more compelling with every sunrise. Think of a river that runs. It carves canyons, nourishes valleys, sustains life. It is poetry in motion. But a pond that sits still, over time it grows murky, full of sediment. It loses its beauty. It loses its vitality. That's what happens to a man who becomes too available, too predictable. He turns from a flowing river into a stagnant pond. And a woman, she feels the murkiness, not the flow. Keep flowing. Dream new dreams. Pursue new passions. Read new books. Pit yourself against new challenges. Confront fears you once ran from. Take road trips alone. Build something nobody else can replicate. Learn a language. Learn an instrument. Learn to paint your own soul onto a canvas. When she sees you evolving, she sees a horizon she wants to explore. When she hears of your latest conquest, whether it's a personal victory or a professional feat, she feels the pull of that ever-expanding universe you inhabit. That pull is more potent than midnight serenades. Now let's acknowledge a painful truth. The fire you ignite by pulling away may inadvertently burn sacred comforts. You will be seen as aloof. You will be questioned. You will be accused of not caring. You will be ghosted, argued with, and possibly even blamed for your own growth. Let it burn. Let the smoke clear your path. Because the man who refuses to shrink himself to fit someone else's expectations, that man remains indestructible. And if she can't handle that, she's not the one meant to light your path. Because love is not about extinguishing each other's flame, it's about standing together, each flame fierce in its own right. So, stay unpredictable, stay evolving, stay wildly broken and beautifully rebuilt day after day. Let her see glimpses of your storms, your passions, your rage, your grief. Let her see the scars. Let her see the poetry in your struggle. Let her feel the power of a man unafraid to be undone. And if she walks away, let her. Because you deserve to stand on the summit of yourself, not clinging to someone who can't climb beside you. Now, before we wrap up, consider this final piece of poetry. She stood on the shore watching you sail beyond the horizon. She felt fear. In the distance, your silhouette became smaller, yet more captivating. She felt longing. The world she once commanded was now vast and unknown. She felt rebirth, because in your absence, she saw her own reflection for the first time. When she knew you'd never leave, she stopped trying. But when she saw that you might just sail farther, beyond anyone's reach, suddenly she wanted to swim oceans to keep up. That, brother, is the heart of desire. That is the primal song of the human spirit. So go forth, be unpredictable, be unstoppable, Be the river that never dries. Be the verse that never ends. Because a woman doesn't want a man who's always there. She wants one she can't predict. And that man is you.